You're not an anchor to somebody. So many people see themselves as an anchor. Flip the other way around. Would you want someone else to come to you and talk about how they're feeling? Of course you would, because they're your friend, their loved one, they care about you. It's the exact same the other way around. There's no shame in talking about it. That's the biggest thing we struggle with, is the shame associated with it. If everyone put their hand up that struggled, there'd be more hands up than hands down. Just to understand that there are so many people in that boat that aren't talking about it, and you're not alone in how you're feeling. And it's not taboo. It's not an awkward, sticky thing. It's a normal thing. I'd be concerned if there are people out there that haven't had a mental health issue at some point in their life, or haven't broken down and needed to talk about it. It's something you do to implement to make yourself feel better. Talk about it. Open up about it. Find a safe person and let them know.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincing.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Lambs to Lions podcast. We've got a very special guest today, Nick Robinson. Welcome.
Thanks, mate. How are you? Good,
mate. Very, very good. It's been cool. We spent the morning getting to know each other off camera and having a good chat. And it's been very refreshing, man, because I think
we probably could have mic'd up our morning conversation, and that would have been a bloody good episode, I reckon.
100%, 100%.
Hopefully we can trump that.
But the thing is, it's been very refreshing, because I think being somewhat of a social media personality, it can be assumed that maybe that's all an act, and it's fucking refreshing to see that it's not.
I appreciate that.
The exact same person.
I do actually appreciate that, because I've had people say, oh, you know who you are, or something, or people have questioned people that I know that they know, but they don't actually know me. Like, is he actually really like that? So to actually hear that actually means a lot to me. So thank you.
Very welcome, man. So do you want to give everyone a little bit of an introduction as to who you are? Actually, before you do that, I will say this conversation, just knowing who you are and what you are openly talking about, I will say to everyone at home that are listening, if it triggers you, if it is a bit hard to listen to, if it's a bit confronting, that's okay. A conversation never costs you anything. So if you ever need any help, if you ever want to talk, we are here.
I rate that highly. Yeah, just trigger warning. Some things I might say, the conversation we're going to go into might be pretty heavy for some people that might have experienced some things. So trigger warning. But it's all coming from good intentions of, at the end of the day, trying to help more people. So
let's dive into it, man. So who are you? What do you do? And I guess probably a big question of how do you describe yourself?
Shit, never had to describe myself before. I'm 23 years old. I live out in the wheat belt in WA, which is about 2 hours out of the city. I work out on a farm. I've had quite a few different jobs. I've just always wanted to find something I enjoy, not find something that's going to pay me lots of money, I guess. And then I've been through struggles my whole life in what I'm doing. And I guess this is all put so simply.
Simple is good, man, because I think this stuff gets often overcomplicated.
That's true, actually. Yeah. So
you don't have to be the person that has a 12-minute speech of intro. Just be I'm a guy that wants to be happy.
Yeah,
right?
That's basically it. I hope that's everyone's goal. And then I started a bit of social media stuff and sharing what I've been through, what I'm feeling. Just at the end of the day, to try to help a few people. Every video I've ever made, every TikTok I've ever made, everything I've ever done is, at the end of the day, hopefully I can help one person, because the expense of me to make a 1-minute video is fuck all compared to hopefully changing someone's perspective on something that they're struggling with, and that's priceless for me. Yeah. And it's not about getting 100,000 likes on a TikTok. It's about getting a comment saying, thank you so much for sharing this. And all I need is one comment on that, and that video was worth it.
Yeah, I think this gets often over, or maybe underappreciated in the content realm. Is often people will make content for some sort of interpersonal gain.
Yep.
And when it comes to content that's specifically directive to mental health, you've got nothing to gain from it. It's realistically, it's the hardest thing that most people will ever do, is create content to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and it gets easier and easier the more you do it, because A, it makes you feel better the more you discuss it, and B, you're helping other people. Yeah. So I'll bring up some messages later of some of the stuff that I've got on social media from people. It's all very deep and touching, but it is really lovely to know what I do makes a difference. So in a nutshell.
Do you find that like these conversations that you have, I feel like anyone that anyone that has experienced some sort of like, whether it be large or small mental health struggle, does become somewhat of an empath where they take in other people's problems? Do you ever feel like that's something you've struggled with?
Yeah. I struggle to switch off, and everything I've done is on my phone. It's my personal phone. It's where I message my friends. It's where I plan to catch up with people, and this is where trigger warning comes in. I get messages from random people saying, I want to take my life. It's messages from people saying, you saved me, that I was going to plan something, and I watched some of your videos and it saved me. So that's all being together is very, very taxing at times, but then I've had to take a step back and realise, okay, I do need to fill my own cup up first, which I hear so often. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you don't actually realise that until you've been there. It's the same analogy of in year 12, people say, I appreciate all your friends around, because when you leave school, it's never going to be the same. Even the peers that you're not even friends with, you're like, fuck, I miss seeing these people even though I didn't talk to them. It's exactly the same. You don't realise that till you leave. It's the exact same point from an empty cup. And you just have to realise, hang on, if you have to question yourself that you have an empty cup or it's running low, you have an empty cup.
Yeah.
And you need to sit back and do what you need to do, or you will end up in a hole. If you have to ask yourself, hang on, do I have an empty cup? Does it need filling up? You have an empty cup, you need to fill up.
I think that comes back to like, even if you just look at any scenario, whether it be friends, family, business, whatever it is, if you find yourself always being reactive, your cup's pretty fucking empty as well.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, if you don't take time to process thoughts, go through things rationally, then you might need to take a step back in what you're doing, because you might have too many things going on.
So where did this whole journey start? I know you said that you've struggled your whole life.
Yeah, whole life I've been really anxious. Like I said off camera, like mum and I both meant to pass away when I was born. We had whatever it's called, mum knows. I hope she knows. So I think that's where mum thinks a lot of my stress comes from. It was such a stressful birth for mum. As soon as she found out it was going to be troubled, she was stressed out. So I was a product of a stressed environment.
Yeah.
So she thinks a lot of my anxiety comes from that, and I've always struggled with anxiety through my whole life. Primary school, high school, I was always in tears every second night in high school, and it's comparing myself to other guys. No other guy was like that. So that made it really difficult that I was on my own in a way. And so then when I realised, hang on, I can do good with social media. Because when I started on TikTok, it was just funny, muck around stuff, have some laughs, do this, do that. And I made one video about, I remember I was out watching a sunset, and it was, you got sore teeth, you go to a dentist, you feel ill, you go to the doctor, your headspace isn't right, you go to a psychologist. What difference does it make? Exactly the same. And I actually wrote this to myself when I was waiting for you to pick me up. I always get these thoughts. I actually message my thoughts to myself on Instagram, Messenger. You live in your mind 24/7. You don't live in your bank account. You don't live in your job. You don't actually live in any other place other than your mind. So if you prioritize everything else going in your life and not your mind, you don't live in these places. So why not prioritize the place where you live the most?
Yeah.
So I just thought of that while I was sitting there waiting for you, and things like that just come to my mind.
And that's like, realistically, if like, this comes into, I guess, the whole self-talk, negative self-talk, the feedback loop that actually provides to your life.
Yeah.
If you can't break that cycle and actually sit with that feeling, you're going to be in a bit of strife.
Yeah, absolutely. So
let's let's open this up into like the story of like your mental health journey, right? Like I think it can largely be, I guess, overexpressed or misunderstood through social media. And we don't social media is only 2% of your life, not even probably. Yep. So let's talk about like what motivated you to get to a point where you could help people.
I always knew I had some sort of impact on social media when I did the funny stuff, the muck around stuff, I hate saying the thirst trappy stuff, all that shit. And I would get DMs from girls, yada, yada, sliding in as they do. And that didn't mean much to me. It was a bit of a hype. It was cool at the start. And I heard all these like wives and hubby. I was a hubby to like all these people. Yeah. And it's just muck around, banter, conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't get any of that anymore and I used to have 92% females follow me. Like 8% blokes.
That's crazy, man.
Because now, like, the stats, and now it's like 65% women.
And well, realistically as well, like now you mostly tailor your message to men.
Yeah, and so it just changed from hang on, I can actually do good with social media. There's all this shit on social media. There's all this fake stuff. There's plenty of funny people out there. I don't need to be another one. I don't need to. I've got a skill. I've got an ability to share this perspective and side of things in life that people don't do, and I want to tap into that to help other people get through struggles that I struggled with my whole life. Because I never had this, I'm not going to say I'm a figure, an idol or a role model, sorry, but I never had a role model when I was young doing what I do to help me get through. So it's, hang on, I can do these things, I can talk about these things, and it's something for a young bloke to look up to and go, yes, it's fine if I want to cry. Yes, it's fine, I want to talk about this. Yes, it's okay if I want to feel this way. And so that's, at the end of the day, and I think another big topic I wanted to make a TikTok about is people try to be strong for people. You have parents and like dads, like, I just want to be strong for them, don't want to show emotions. I get, well, why not show them that it's okay to be upset?
Yeah. What defines strength?
Yeah. Why not be the role model to your kid and show it's okay to cry? Because if that kid doesn't see you get upset, they grow up going, oh, I can't cry, I can't be upset, my dad doesn't do it. You being brave is actually essentially showing them you can't show emotions. So that's always something I want to talk about is be the role model and show that it's okay not to be okay for your kids and stuff like that, or whoever it might be in your life. So I think that's something I
think, would it be fair to say, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the ability to help people, like if we look at that as like an extreme positive, right? Extremes always come from other extremes, right? It's like generally accepted in life is like pendulum theory, right? Where you come from one end, we generally will swing to the other end and overcompensate. And as humans, we struggle to find this point of neutrality where we can actually, sit in the darkness, right? And like understand that darkness too can be beautiful, but also that progressing and moving forward is necessary for life, and helping people is something that's so internally fulfilling. What was your negative downswing? What was like, let's talk about the worst it got. I think it's
worst it got was about 3-4 months ago.
Okay.
And everything built up, podcast built up, living where I didn't really want to live, working where I didn't want to work. Relationship was a bit iffy. I had a future plan there that didn't follow through, and I put all my mental eggs, I guess, in that basket of this is what the future's going to be. That didn't come through. And then I just crashed and burnt. And as I said, I'll be open and honest. I was at home, mum and dad's place in Perth, had a muffin in the microwave. Mum walked out. Mum and I are really close. We had the biggest of fights, but we're also two peas in a pod because of what we've been through, I think. And she's always like, she'll be my rock for the rest of my life. And I'm happy to admit that. The guys won't admit that. A 23-year-old bloke to say, yeah, my mum's my biggest rock. Mate, you don't see that, but
it's weird for me, man. My biggest rock is my grandpa that's actually passed away.
Yeah, right.
So it's strange.
Yeah.
Like he's still the thing that anchors me to
fucking oath.
Who I am and what I do.
Just because he's not here, he's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mum being my rock, and I said something and I saw her face drop and I was on edge so badly, and I just grabbed the plate out of the microwave, ditched it into the floor, plate shattered, went everywhere, ended up on the floor in like the fetal position, just hyperventilating, going crazy, going nuts, saying things like a mother wouldn't want to hear a son say. And then that's where it started, and then yada yada, went back to Wongan, I think, and then ended up in hospital. I went to the GP, and then the things I was saying to the GP, they were like, you need to go to the hospital now. And I'd been living with that for quite a while. And so I went to the hospital, had a chat with someone about an appointment that I was going to get a call for, went back home, then had to go back to the hospital because I didn't get this call that I was waiting for, which I literally put all my energy into. That was my lifeline. This call from a psychiatrist to diagnose me to get on the path, and every second was a year. It was so long waiting. Didn't get the call, and then ended up back in hospital again. And then I went back to Perth, stay at mum and dad's house, and my bed became my safe place. So I was in bed for 3 weeks. I lost like 8 kilos. I was eating a handful of grapes a day, and mum would come in and out, and I would watch. Actually, I watched Schitt's Creek, and that was like I have weird emotional attachment to that now because I watched that in that
was your
period.
comfort.
And same as my bed. Like my bed is my safe place because of what I went through with that bed. And after a week, the biggest thing for me would be to go outside and lay on the couch, and that would be the scariest, most difficult thing. And mum would come out, and I was in this really deep hole, and I'd started medication, and people know that started medication for the mental health. The first few weeks of downhill, and I took more than I should have. I didn't overdose or anything, but more than what my body could handle first time taking medication, and how tall I was, the weight I was. So I was taking 20 milligrams when most people start off on 10 milligrams. So I felt the side effects even worse. And I was bedbound, like incredibly suicidal. And one of the only things that helped me sleep and put my mind at rest was actually thinking about doing it, because that's the only thing that calmed me, because it took away the pain of everything else. And I would think about, this is getting so open and raw. 3 people. One of the biggest things that got me through was picturing 3 people at my funeral. And that was mum, my girlfriend at the time, and Lauren, who I'm here on this trip with in Melbourne. And that was one of the biggest parts that got me through there. And then the medication slowly picked up again, and slowly going for a walk around the block, which was the fucking hardest thing to do, getting out of the house. And so everything kind of started getting back together. And Yeah, it's still, every single day is still a struggle, I think, in a way. And I have to concentrate every single day. My auntie actually messaged me as of late, and I said, even if I'm relaxing in a situation, I need to concentrate to appreciate relaxing so I don't let my mind slip. And I need to appreciate everything I'm doing, even if it's really difficult and whatever, or the most basic of things. Appreciate day for day what it is.
What's the small steps, man? Like, when it comes to mental health, bro, I think it's hard enough to win a war on one front, let alone multiple.
That's true.
Right? And
That's
like
true.
this thing is beating you down from every angle.
Yeah.
It's like if you can find success in just getting on the couch, from bed to couch, if you can find success in just like, as cliched as is, it's just like one foot in front of the other kind of thing.
Yeah.
It does allow you this sense of clarity and does allow you to like not only just see that the path is there, but start to pave it as you go.
Yeah.
And I feel like so often when it comes to people that are either in points of struggle, they're on this negative downswing of their pendulum, they struggle to see that there is just, it does take just one thing.
Yeah.
And that one thing is going to compound.
Yeah.
And if that gets you to a point where, and to be honest, man, that one thing might actually lead to more negative. But the thing that I will say is that the grass always gets greener from experience, right?
Yep.
If you can wait out that negative swing, the positive upswing of that is extreme.
Yep.
And often, like, as people that have struggled with mental health, that extreme, we can almost feel guilty for feeling happy on that other end.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah.
But that's something that I, like, from what I've noticed, at least, like, a lot of my surface level stress is business related.
Yep.
Right. And it comes up, and this positive upswing comes up and it's really positive. But then I start feeling like I'm in this negative feedback loop of, fuck, when am I going to get anxious again?
Yeah.
When's it coming?
Yeah,
When's this downward spiral coming?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
That kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying of like, you have to be present in the moment so you don't start to focus on not only what could go wrong, but being conscious of what's actually going right, enjoying the small little wins.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of it was, the scariest thing I was faced with is being told that it's going to be very difficult to get through this and it's going to need fight when I had no fight left in me. Beyond zero fight.
You did.
Of headspace to be able to work through something.
But you did.
Yeah.
So, this is opens up a question. If you felt like you had zero, where did the rest come from?
The people around me and that environment. Okay. And at the end of the day, that's what, it didn't matter how much fucking money I had in my bank account. I got money in my bank. That doesn't help the fact that I'm suicidal. That's all these other things in life that we put so much time, effort, energy into at the end of the day aren't the basic things that get you through the day. My mum was there. That was the basic thing that got me through the day. The thing that's free for me.
So and how, devil's advocate, right? Having been in a position that is similar, right? How do you open yourself up to the help that is free?
Open, honest, and raw, and know that people around you are there to help you. The hardest thing I had to hear was a no. Was I had to live for other people. I didn't want to be here, so why do I have to do it for other people? And it's when you get through this thing, you're medicated, you see a psychologist, even if it's an hour session where you feel okay talking about it, and 23 hours of the day you feel shit, at least you spent 1 hour, not 24 hours feeling shit. Yeah. And it's something my psych told me is I've just got constant negative thoughts running through my mind. If I fight for 15 seconds to just pump my mind with positive thoughts, even if it's artificial, even if it's just, I don't feel it, even if I go, this is a great day, this is amazing, this is so nice, the air's so clean, so fresh, the water, I'm so grateful I can drink clean water. That's 15 seconds of positive thoughts at the end of the day. And so it's countering that and getting on top of that and basic things like that. And yeah, it just gets easier, and it's so difficult for me to say that based off where I was. But the more you implement these things, do these things, see a psychologist, get medicated, be in good surrounds, it makes such a difference.
How do you feel about, because I feel like I'm pretty passionate about this topic when it comes to like false positivity. You mentioned there like trying to find things to be positive about. Yep. For example, like that you drink clean water, right? One thing that I found when I was going through my own struggles, that people would, people that didn't understand mental health challenges would create a comparison of like, well, at least you have a roof over your head. At least you're not, a child starving in Africa. Yep. And for me, that false sense of like perspective, that false like ideology of like perspective is everything, I think it's fucking rubbish, because like my heart is my heart. Yeah. Like, no, I completely agree with that. Yeah. Like their heart doesn't affect me, and it's horrible that they have their heart. Yeah. But my heart is what I live in now. And you can't tell me that it's not hard.
I totally understand and respect that. But I'm also the person that does do that and say, I'm so grateful I have a roof over my head. And I 100% understand where you're coming from. When I was so rock bottom,
if that's the thing that brings you up,
Yeah.
then great.
Yeah. There's no right and wrong in what brings who up.
And but the thing is, like, if it's interpersonal, if it's subjective within you and that's the perspective you create, amazing.
Yeah.
But what I
I do
don't like
completely agree with you. Yeah.
when other people project that perspective for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you aren't living in my head. Like you said before, like we each live in our own heads more than anywhere else.
Yeah.
So you don't understand as much as you can say you do, and you want to listen to me. Like only I know my heart.
Yeah.
And like it's not your responsibility, or it's not your place to project your perspective.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. You can have an option of here's something you might be able to think about, may or may not help you, but you can't force that on someone to.
No, you can't be. You shouldn't try and make people feel guilty because they have a lack of perspective.
Yeah. No, that's very true.
Yeah, perspective is something that's shining the light, not trying to shut them in the hole.
Very, very true. Yeah,
and like I feel like sometimes when, especially men, we often try and find this false perspective that we don't necessarily believe either.
Yeah,
like like you said there that it helped you, you believed it, but I feel like some people try and convince themselves of positivity when it's not. When realistically, what they need to is actually just understand their negative.
Yeah,
take the time to realize what it is, and I think that comes part and part with like medication diagnosis and so on, like getting the necessary help. Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And like
that's true.
If you're in this place of complete struggle and like you wake up in a certain mood every day that you can't figure out what the fuck's going on, but you hate your life, you're never happy, and even the things that you are joyful with, you feel guilty for. Having that diagnosis, having that conversation can actually, like, for me, like when I got diagnosed with that anxiety, I can only speak from experience. It did open up a lot of possibility of like, well, I know now. Yeah. Like, let's create a path. Yeah. Let's pave the way.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so much easier when you have that. Okay, this is what I have to work off. This is the direction I can go in. When your head's going bananas, you've got nothing to go off, nothing, anything. It's so difficult to find a direction to move in. So when you're given that diagnosis, you're given that thing, you go, okay, this is how I am. This is what I'm going to do to help it. And unfortunately, I've never properly officially been diagnosed because I always wanted to go to a psychiatrist that was reputable, that was good, but they've all got their books closed. They're all not seeing any patients. So
unfortunately, that's what came with COVID.
Yeah. So I saw a doctor of psychiatry that was one less. Yep. So basically psychiatrists, but they do around medication and everything. And he said I had GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. That was the closest diagnosis that he could give me. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I was really striving for this diagnosis, really wanted this diagnosis. And then it just clicked one day, woke up, I was like, why the fuck do I need to get diagnosed? I get diagnosed today. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm still going to be the same person. So it's a matter of accepting this is who I am, this is how I am, this is how I've always been. I need to get through this. Up to me. It's up to me how I get through this, sorry. And so that was the switch in my head, I guess, that, okay, yeah, someone said I've got GAD, someone said I got this, yeah, I know I'm depressed, I know I've got anxiety. Someone else told me that isn't going to take it away.
No.
I know the path I need to take. I know how I am. I've got to start doing it.
It's the power of extreme ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, have you read Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership? No. Okay, great book. It's mostly a business book, right? But lesson from it is everything is your fault, right? And when you accept that everything is your fault, everything becomes in your control. Yeah. Right? Yeah, that's true. So even the way people treat you, if you can take responsibility for how they've treated you, find a way to take responsibility for everything, you can now create a path forward because it's now in your power, right? And that's not to say that anxiety is by fault, but if you can take responsibility for how you feel, it does allow you that ownership. Without ownership, you can't move.
That's very true. Yeah, no, I rate that highly.
It's something that like I've tried to apply to most avenues of like the way I think. Yeah. Like even in problems in the business, someone else does something wrong. It's like, well, it was my fault. I didn't provide the training. It was my fault. I didn't provide the support. Yeah. And I can problem solve.
But then that can become quite hard on you.
It's a big weight. It's a big weight to carry, right? But the way I try to live my life currently, this may change, is like give credit and take blame, right? So in any sort of situation where there is positives, whether it has been my creation of the positive, or I've been the one that's pursued the thing that's created the outcome, I'm going to try and share the credit. Like you guys helped do this, and this, because it allows not only for me to feel fulfilled that I'm giving people the stage a little bit, but also it shares responsibility. Yeah. Right. But then when I take blame, it does definitely put a lot of weight on my shoulders. Yeah. Right? It's a lot to deal with. Yeah. But I feel like for me currently, if I take blame, I feel more in control because I can fix it.
Yeah. No, I rate that. As long as you can find that middle ground of not taking too much weight.
Well, that's the unfortunate, man. That's where I said before with like pendulum theory. It's like we do things in extremes.
Yeah.
I think it's human nature that we are extremists by default.
Yeah.
And we have to learn neutral.
And I think I agree. And something I'm trying to implement is because when I feel one end of the emotion, I'll feel the other end. If I'm super excited about something, super keen, I'm going to feel the other end of that if it doesn't go well.
Well,
so
it's innate, man. You look at children, right?
Yeah.
They don't get a little bit upset. They get a lot.
Yeah.
They have a tantrum.
Yeah.
But then when they're happy, they're balls of joy.
Yeah. And it's, learn to find that middle ground, which is why I think someone asked, you excited for Melbourne? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty keen. And so I'm not going to go, yeah, super excited because if something goes wrong, and then I'm going to feel worse. But then I'm still getting joy out of it without going, oh, meh, Melbourne, yeah.
Yep.
So I still got to get the joy out of it. So instead of being 100% zero, I leave it at 65, 35.
Yeah.
So I don't, So it's not 50-50 where I don't feel anything.
Yep.
I keep it around 65, 35 of I enjoy it, but then I'm not going to be down in the dumps if it goes to shit.
Yeah.
So I don't keep it 100 and 0.
It's funny you mentioned there not feeling anything, because that's something that, like, when I first got medicated, no longer medicated now, I'm very fortunate that the strategies put in place to deal with anxiety have worked. And I slowly came off those meds. But one of the things that I was really concerned about going down the path of using medication was like, will I feel nothing? Will I become numb? Will I become not me? Because like one of the biggest things that I feel like anchors me to my personality is my empathy, my care factor. And I thought like that was going to go.
Did it?
No,
that's good.
It didn't. Look, the first 2 weeks, as you said, it sucks, right? Like, but
Shit.
knowing that it's going to get worse before it gets better, like it did give me a little bit of solace. It helped me kind of like, okay, well, just wait for the light at the end of the tunnel. It may not be there now.
Will come.
I was at the point, man, like, and I've not actually said this publicly, so I'll get a little bit raw with you as well. I was at the point where, similar thought process, like a relationship at the time had ended that was very future driven. And from day one was pretty much like, cool, this is where my life's going to go. This is who it's going to go with. And this is the path I'm taking. And that all kind of over time became very clear that was crumbling through like no control of mine. I had no control of the situation. And it got to a point where that climaxed in that relationship ending. And I felt like my reality crumbled. Right. To the point where like in that process of like realizing that anxiety was a real issue for me, like I'd felt anxious. Right. I think so. This is a difference. There's a difference between feeling anxious. Everyone can feel anxious.
Absolutely.
But having anxiety is like, there's a clinical issue here. And my realizing factor was like, a panic attack on the floor. At the conversation of this potentially falling through. And then I was like, fuck, okay, I need to go to a doc. And it was, that night. Off to a doc. Off to a hospital. Cool. We need to get medicated. And this is the path forward. But in that time, essentially medicated, and then within a 2-week period, relationship ended. So I was at my worst because medication was kicking in. I was sitting on a chat at probably 2 a.m. to, Beyond Blue. And like it's a weird concept because I don't think I'd ever have, and this is a big trigger warning, I don't think I would have the bravery, and I say bravery, to take my life. I don't think I could do it. But what I was thinking was like, would just love to go for a drive and someone hit me. Right. Would love for there to be a house fire and me to go in and try and save someone, but not make it.
No,
and
I can completely relate to that. 100%.
That's the thought process that I was at. And like a massive shout out to the support staff at Beyond Blue. Like I didn't feel comfortable and confident to talk to someone on the phone.
100%. But the other text lines, and so many people wouldn't feel comfortable.
But having that conversation, and it's strange because like, the friends I had around me, they knew, they were very aware of the situation. Right. They were very aware of the toxicity of the relationship. They were very aware of my personal point of position. And they were all very available. They were all like, we are here. Right. We are here to help. But the conversation still didn't feel comfortable. And it's only now that I'm on the other side of it that I feel comfortable talking about it. Because even like when it was happening, like my parents, man, like they knew I was on anxiety medication, but they didn't know the severity. Right. And it was only, funny we talk about medication and often it does come with a negative stigma. My old man, right, I remember talking to him pretty recently, right? Like, because things were just like getting surface level stressed. And because I've gone down the road of using medication before, I almost like, I had this thought process of like, oh, fuck, this might help, right? might be a good idea to get back on. And it was surface level stress, so it was for me not necessary.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my old man about it, and like he goes, you know, typical old bloke. He's like in his 60s. He's like, nah, you don't need that. You don't need that. And I go, Dad, you know I was on it before. He goes, yeah, but you know you don't need it anymore. I go, you realize without that, like I wouldn't be here, right? Like that's the severity of this, and that it shut him up pretty fucking quick.
Yeah,
and that's where like I had this like negative thought process that I couldn't even talk to my parents of like, oh, like they just thought I was just using anxiety medication to cope with work stress, like and life stress that was compounding. But man, it was fucking real. And you know, like I think after the fact, once I've got to a point of exception, and I was actually, it was in this time where I messaged you. You know, I'd probably spent 2 hours scrolling through your content, and this is like, you know, I think it's going to be very obvious from this conversation that what your experiences are can help people, but I can attest to it from, I guess, a consumer's perspective that I spent 2 hours scrolling through content like with tears fucking pouring down my face. I'd be like, this guy gets it. And I messaged him and I just said thank you. Like,
I remember it. I actually read it this morning.
And like, it's something that I've actually reread a few times because like I remember the time, I remember the point that I was in, and it was not good, right? And just finding those videos, finding that relatability, and finding the ability to actually say that these conversations are okay, was extremely helpful. So I actually want to say publicly thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I think that probably draws us into probably a cool story is like how you got to Melbourne.
I'm going to throw this thank you straight back to you because I was going to mention it in the car, but no, fuck it, I'll mention it when we're mic'd up. I want to say thank you to you for messaging me to come out here, because when you messaged me, I wasn't at my lowest of lows, but it was in that period of I'd been out to the couch a few more times. I'd started watching telly a little bit, and I was slowly getting there. And then to have someone message me saying thank you, and they were going to do something like get me out here and get me on the podcast, that gave me worth. That gave me value. So thank you for messaging me, because you didn't realize that you doing that was something I really needed. I really struggle with self-worth and self-confidence. That's one of my biggest issues. I don't value myself. I don't. So to have someone go, I would love you on my podcast in Melbourne, I'm like, fuck, I've got worth. Someone wants me. That's more than a message of you're doing great. It's a come out on the podcast. We'd love to hear you. And that was something I really needed then.
Very well.
So yeah, thank you for that.
Because I think this conversation is going to be, you know, I think like unbelievably, like immeasurably helpful. And drawing from experience for both of us, I think it's going to be something that just does open up this conversation. Because like I'll be honest, as I said, I've not really spoken about my own mental health struggles extremely publicly. Like I've made people aware of them, but it's not been something where it's been an open all tell all. And running the business that I do, it's like often just assumed like killing it, doing well, right? Like because like, you know, metrics would project that, right? Like things look good.
The perceived expectation is you're right.
But like, and like you've probably heard the saying that, you know, shiny surfaces often reflect more than what they show. Right. So everything can look good on the surface. And this is like, this is a big shout out to everyone at home. Like if everything looks good, right, it probably isn't. And that you need to find solace in that, because if other people experience bullshit, other people experience stress and high end levels of stress where it starts to actually consume their life, but everything looks great. It's like those imperfections that you see in yourself ain't shit. It's okay. So let's go into a little bit of another direction, man. Like you said there that the diagnosis didn't mean anything to you, or it wasn't necessary for you.
I became comfortable with the fact that I wasn't going to get it ASAP, and I had to accept that because I wasn't going to get it. And to get out of this situation, I had to accept that, or I was going to stay there. And it's like, yeah, this is how I am. This is who I am. Someone told me it wasn't an official diagnosis. Yeah, I've got this. Okay. And another big thing, I got a blood test, because that's usually the first thing you do is get a blood test to make sure your blood's all right. I was praying for fucked up test levels. I was praying that my free-flowing test was fucked.
Yeah, because it would give you an answer.
Yeah, there's my answer. I can fix that. I had perfect blood levels. And that sucked so much for me, because that means everything I was going through was all mental. It was going to be all fight to get through this. It wasn't this, fix this, and a little bit of mental fight. It was, what I'm going to have to do is all fight.
Dude, I can relate, because very recently, as I said, I was getting that like, it was surface level. It was high in stress. Like business was like cooking me a lot. And my heart was starting to do all this weird shit, right? Like I was getting like pretty much arrhythmias. I was getting like really fast heart rates. And I only got all the testing done. Right. And I'm sitting there, like when I was getting the tests, and I'm sitting there going, fuck, I'm kind of low key hoping that this is a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's actually something wrong, so then we can fix it. All good.
Yeah.
Turns out all my bloods are fine. All of like my heart scans fine.
Yeah.
Everything comes back as, bro, you're getting anxious. Yeah. And I was like, oh fuck, I got to deal with this again. Right? Like I actually have to take and pay the attention, like do my due diligence to actually feel good.
Yeah.
Look after myself, train, eat well, take my time to actually, get into routine again and do all the things that are important.
Yeah.
It wasn't just going to be a quick fix of like, oh, here's a problem, here's an answer.
Yeah.
Fuck, here we go.
Yeah. So that was one of the biggest things for me, knowing it wasn't going to be a quick fix. And then anyone listening that is in that situation, it sounds, you're going to hear this saying it sounds silly that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but there actually is. And that was the last thing I would believe when I was like that, but there fucking is. There are solutions to the problem. There always is. It might be difficult, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. You're still here for a reason. So just because you're hearing that it's difficult doesn't mean you can't do it.
Something that I actually mentioned, I actually messaged you and I said, I noticed that you were going through a bit of a rough patch again. And I said, the grass always is greener.
Yeah.
Right. Because as much as we assume that, people always say like the grass is never green on the other side. And when it comes to life, as far as the progression goes, it's rubbish. Because if you can stick out the shit, at some point you will never accept the same standard. At some point your ability to see positive will supersede what it was previously.
Yep.
So the grass gets greener. It's just time.
I agree with that.
It's just time.
Yep.
But like, unfortunately, we live in a day and age of instant gratification, and like social media is heavily to blame for that.
Yeah.
And you probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably kind of bought into that process of
100%.
like instant gratification because you are so heavily involved on social media.
And you can't really help it. I know I can post a TikTok of a bit of a thirst trapy TikTok and I'm going to get shitloads of comments that make me feel good. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's reality. Whether I do it for that reason or not, I'm soaking that in. And so it's taking that away and then realizing I need to accept this and be happy without that was another part of, I guess, being this way. And I don't know. When I posted that post, me laying in the hospital bed, so I had 24,000 followers on Instagram overnight. I had 26,000. It was 103,000 people saw it. Yeah, shit. Like you can see all the stats of how many people saw it. 24,000 people saw it that followed me or something. Had like 15,000 likes, 808 comments. And that was, at that time, that's what I needed. Even though it might not be the best thing to get that.
Well, instant gratification is still valuable.
Yeah, so that's to post that. And I didn't post it for the gratification. My lifeline there of being at rock bottom was the fact that I could post this and it might help someone. And that's what meant the most to me. Not the comments of, we love you, everyone loves you, this, that, and the other. It was me posting this will help someone. And that's what got me through.
With, we'll come back to social media in a second, but I know you mentioned before that like you didn't really have a role model or someone to look up to in regards to a mental health like status.
Yeah.
What anchors you so heavily to wanting to help people? Like I can't, because it's like I know it sounds like the easy answer, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Like I just want to be the role model.
Yeah.
But it's very surface level.
Yeah.
Like where do you think that comes from?
Being through what I've been through, and wanting to help another young 14-year-old kid get through his struggles that I didn't know how to get through, or had no one to relate to in those struggles. So it's me being open, raw, and honest in who I am. That kid has me to relate to, and that might help them get through this thing they're going through. Plus, it gives me value. It gives me purpose. It gives me reason to do things. I don't know how to be a 9-to-5 person, have my job, chill out, do nothing, wake up, do it again.
Talk to the word value. What do you mean?
As in, how does it give me value?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Value is one of these things, man, where it's very subjective.
No, I agree with that.
Right, because like some people, and it's not up for me to decide whether they're right or wrong.
That's
it's
true.
like some people will value money in an account, some people will value a car, some people will value, spending time down at the old folks' home. Right, like define value for you.
Shit, it's not in the car, that's for sure.
Yep,
it's genuine. I don't know. What is it for you? You go first. Don't put me on the spot like that.
Man, to be honest, I don't know the answer, but.
I think it's all into each person's interpretation of what they value. Some people might value being a cog in the machine of a 9-to-5, and they have lots of confidence in who they are, and so like, yep, I'm of value, yep, they need me, and they can do their whole life knowing they have that. I have zero value in me and who I am. I don't have confidence. I don't have in like catching up with people. I'm like, make it so easy for them. I can drive out to you. I can pick you up. If this doesn't work for you, we can do this day. I don't have value in me and who I am. So to do things for other people that are helping them just gives me value, I guess. But I don't really know how to define my interpretation of value, but that's an example, I think.
Do you know how to quantify value?
No.
Like, do you get to a point where it's like, I am valuable enough?
No.
What's that point of enough?
There is no enough, I think. And that's probably something I need to work on. That's who I am. That doesn't mean that can't change. But I don't have a point of, yep, I've done enough. I can sit back.
Well, I'd probably argue in the struggles you've gone through that if there was a point of enough, then you would soon to lack purpose.
Yep.
And without purpose, like, how do you get motivation? Because unfortunately, man, motivation is one of these loops that people use motivation to create action, and then action leads to results.
Yep.
Right. Problem is, if we don't get no results, motivation dies in the ass.
Yep.
So if you're in this process of like, full feedback loop where I need to get positive, I need to get healthier mentally, physically, etc.
Yep.
And you want to drive on that motivation first.
Yep.
Right. But then you move to action and then you get nothing.
Yeah.
But then you can no longer quantify.
No, that's true.
Like value. If you can no longer quantify value, it's like, fuck, how can you ever produce more motivation?
Yeah. So that's what it's been like on our podcast. And it's the amount of listens we get, the amount of, I only saw the other day, we got like Spotify, saw like 5 stars, brackets, 549 reviews. I'm like,
that's wild.
Like, I don't see that. I see it and I go, that's cool. And I go, okay, I'm done now. Podcasting was sick. There's never
clocked it, done.
Yeah, there will always be someone out there that's going to benefit from something I can say that I've learned, that I've been through. So I can't stop. And I can slow down to help myself, but I've reached purpose in doing that, and that's, I'm not going to say it's my calling, but it's such a specific niche skill. I don't want to use the word skill. I don't know, way of being how I am, and I can recognize that and my ability to help people, and I don't want to waste that. I don't want a 9 to 5 where I can't use this.
Yeah. And
whether I turn this into a profession, a job, a career, or I keep doing it on the side or whatever it is, I just need to keep doing it to give me purpose and value.
Cool. So is that where we kind of feed back into social media being the platform that allows you to help the most amount of people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I fucking hate social media.
Okay. Talk to me.
Which we talked about.
Yeah.
And it's, what did I say? You get people that go to an event, and before the event they get 50 photos. They like one of those photos that they share. So 49 of them, so 98% of what they are, you don't see.
Yeah,
they don't.
It's
share.
Left unseen. Yeah.
They share the 2% that they liked, that they picked through of the 100%. So that's all you see, and then all the shit of filters and editing and people getting photos in front of flash cars that they took a loan out to buy that they can't afford to make themselves feel good, and while there's someone else out there struggling because they're comparing themselves to you, which is a fake life. I just hate it all.
Yeah. Well,
so
man, Instagram, social media has created more poor people that have been pretending to be rich.
Yeah.
Than ever.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. And people say, like oldies say, we've got it so lucky, so easy these days. Everything's so accessible. We have to go to the library to find out what this means. You can just shut the fuck up. Like,
it comes with its fucking downsides.
And there's more downsides than positive.
I fucking agree.
And it's, the comparison to other people is what leads so many people in such a bad headspace.
Yeah, like if we were to try and look at this and go, look, would I prefer, if we look at like my domain, my niche is like working in business, would I prefer to start a business now than then? Fuck yeah, because I have ability to grow it quicker.
Yep.
But with quick growth comes fucking quick problems, right? That you haven't yet adapted to, that you haven't yet learnt the lessons for.
Yeah.
Like, and it also comes with more pressure.
Yeah.
Social media comes with fuck off pressure.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. Do you get much of that? Like, of people just expectations to either create videos in a certain way, or
and it became a problem for me. I did a story about it. It wasn't a rant, but it was like I'm not a lifeline.
Yeah.
I'm not beyond blue, and people were messaging me all this shit and stuff. I shouldn't say shit. All this stuff that's so deep and meaningful for them. And at the end of the day, I'm still my person. I still need to do my life. This is me. I do what I can to help people based off things I've been through. I've never said I'm a mental health advocate and I'm here for people, everyone, every hour of the day. This is my career. This is something I do above my life just to help people where I can. So it gets very taxing when people mess with me with this stuff. But then I'll get some message now.
What's going on, everyone? Hope you're well. I won't keep you too long. I know you're hopefully enjoying the podcast. And if you are, let us know. It would be really greatly appreciated if you can jump on, give us a quick 5-star review. You don't even need to stop listening to the show. If you're on Spotify, you can do it in less than 10 seconds. And it does help the show grow a lot. It helps us, get a bit of confirmation bias that we're doing the right thing. And just to say thank you, if you guys do that, we're going to be picking one person every month to guest spot on the podcast that has shared, liked, commented, subscribed, and interacted with what we do. Big thank you. Let's get back to it. Man, I can actually speak to that because when I messaged you,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I messaged you for me to get it off my chest. I didn't expect a response.
That's
probably something that you need to probably realize, that a lot of people are messaging you just to get it off their chest, get it on paper, so to speak.
Yep.
They're not necessarily looking for advice or opinion. It's just like you're heard.
So on our podcast, we've said that because we've got a bloke Instagram. Just if you got something in your mind, throw it in a message. We don't have to reply. It's out of your mind. You can write it in paper. You can send it a message request. It'll stay as a message request. That's fine. So when I do reply with some people, they're like, "What the fuck? I never thought you'd reply. This means so much to me." And then I go, "Hang on, it takes 2 seconds for me to reply, and I've made this person's day." That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So I won't mention her name. She messaged me 2 years ago. A lady, she's got a kid, and she said she want to say thank you so much for everything you've done, all your videos, because without you, me and my kid wouldn't be here. And she sends me a photo of her kid, Miller, as a gift note.
That's beautiful.
And so she gives me 6 monthly updates of like how she's going. She started this job. She sends me all these updates. And it's like this random person over east. Oh, I'm over here now. Fuck, that's weird. Over this side, while I'm over in WA, it just sends me updates and thanks for things I've done. And
it's wild.
Like, I'll read out a few messages I've got. Like I read them and sometimes I look over them and I appreciate them more.
I think this is like, your appreciation aside, I think what this hopefully will show people is what you're about to read. I'd assume other people have experienced tenfold. Yeah. And if you're listening at home, it's like, you're not the only one going through the shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
for every person that's messaging you, there's 100 other that aren't.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of them are just thanks. Like, hey mate, I'm really getting around the stuff you post, the mental health stuff, going through all the shit time myself this year, and I've always been ashamed to talk about it. But seeing you talking about it has been a huge help for me, being more open about it with my friends and family. Seriously, keep it up, love it. So just to have that impact of me sharing, because I'm super vulnerable in how I am and who I am and what I share. It doesn't take anything out of me to tell you that I was in bed because I wanted to take my life. I've accepted that. So, but to voice that and know it can help some random person, that's so worth it to me. If it's just one person, like, hey mate, I don't want anything from this, but you're the reason I push through everything on a daily basis. I listen to your podcast on a daily. It means a lot to me and it hits home keeping. So like some people are kids, 14, 15-year-olds that have shit English. And it's like, that means so much to me that this kid who can't even type properly appreciates the content I put out and I can hopefully help their mental health.
Yeah. Has that like opened your thought process to potentially how early these conversations of mental health need to be had?
Oh, so early.
Because like, it's not like, fuck man, this is a big conversation. It's not taught in school.
Fuck no.
Right? Mental health challenges, mental health strategies, awareness. Yeah. It's not taught in school.
And everything you learn in school means fucking jack shit if your mental health isn't in check.
Do you know what? Even one further, it doesn't mean shit all for fucking life.
No.
Like the only thing school ever taught me was like interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
Right? Like learning how to deal with people, talking to people, dealing with people I don't like, creating relationships, etc.
Yeah.
But as far as skill set in life, it's not done much for me.
No. I learned about pi and that's about it.
Yeah.
3.1415926535897932384626433.
That's what you could have literally just made up numbers there and I wouldn't fucking know. But
I think I skipped one. I was in a truck one day for work and I was like, fuck it, I want to recite pi. I got like 60 numbers.
It's fucking wild.
Sick. I used to remember it, so like 3.14159653897, and then I got it for ages. It's just such a cool like party trick. Like,
I fucking know that is. That's sick.
Do you know pi? Yeah.
Fuck you, but no one would be able to challenge you on it.
Nah,
never.
But it's just like that's a cool little simple brain trick you can do or learn or take your mind off things. That's another strategy. Take your mind off things. Learn simple things like that. So I actually finished reading this message. That's quite nice. To when it hits home, keep doing what you're doing without you. I have to fill in some of this English. And others, I don't know where I would be to this day. You make the sun shine a bit brighter and make everything a bit better. I'm going through a really very rough spot with my ex and family, and you just make everything that little bit better and make the light at the tunnel a bit closer. I'm extremely close to ending everything right there. And then I look down to myself too and think of everything I've achieved this far, and it keeps me going. You're doing an amazing job, man. Thanks heaps, more than anybody could ever think. Yeah, so I've had kids message me like, did you as a school project, like your idol and stuff, like did presentations in school.
That's crazy.
Like, something that brings me to tears, like reading it, because what I do is because it genuinely means something. I don't do it for clout. I don't do it for followers. I do it because of how much it means to me. So getting these messages, TikTok, I get a lot on TikTok sometimes. Like I made it TikTok in tears. Like so many comments. Like I pray that my son grows up to be like you. that you can't get a bigger compliment.
You can't buy that.
You can't. And then there's a trend going around. Like, it might seem like a little trend, means nothing, but girls who I'd feel safe walking home with, and the amount of them I'm put in that's priceless to me.
Yeah.
That a girl can see me as being someone safe to be around. Like, I don't do social media for followers and clout. I do them to help people, and that's just an added bonus. So.
Which in today's day and age is very rare.
I think
a lot of the time, like 9 times out of 10, and I can say, guilty. Social media is there as a leverage for financial gain, or it is there for status. That's pretty much your main two, right? Like, and again, like I can say guilty because like we run a business, and without social media, business ceases to exist. But ultimately, what we try and do is help people on the back end of that. But we'd be stupid not to play the game of social media.
Oh, shit, yeah.
But if we talk about like creating authenticity on a platform that is absolutely inauthentic, how did you adjust to it? Because you challenge the status quo hugely, not only just for like content being organic, but if we look at like stereotype with men, not wanting to talk about mental health, it's like you're coming into a market where there was empty, and we call it a market, right? A niche, a populace that was empty, and capitalized on it very quickly.
Yeah, I guess it was a shock, the impact that I could make. It wasn't overnight, but essentially overnight, I became someone that was recognized in the street.
Yeah,
and even to the day,
more than just the dude with a mullet and a stash. It was like
that's what it started as. Because my TikToks were like nothing, like thirst trappy, like jokes, like I'm looking for a wife, yada yada, bullshit, just to fill up my inbox. As you do.
Yeah.
And then it just got real, and I started posting real stuff, and none of that shit mattered. And as I said before we went on air, it means so much fucking more to me for a bloke to come up to me and have a 30-minute conversation at a club saying how much he appreciates what I do than a girl that comes up to me and says, "You're so hot," like yada yada yada. I'd see you on TikTok. I'm like, okay, that's lovely. Enjoy your night.
Yeah.
A bloke, I'll give him all the time. Before you came to pick me up, a 35-year-old bloke walking down, fuck no, I wouldn't think he'd listen to my shit or whatever I do. He walks past, he's like, "Oh, I love your TikToks, bro," and keeps walking. And I'm just there like, "Thank you so much, dude." Wow. And then I put my phone away, and I soak that up and enjoy that, because that's things I need to recognize. I can't let that brush over and be like, "Oh, nice." I soak that up and realize that, and it's like, yeah, that's lovely.
So that probably brings
before I do that, before we go to success, social media. Another reason I hate it was because we spend so much time with people we chose to be with. We catch up with people, we do things with people, only to have them scroll through social media and look at a past tense of someone else's life that's usually 95% of the time fake or posed. I fucking hate that. You're in bed with your missus, and I made this clear from the start. I've done nothing wrong with social media if you want to scroll through and whatnot, but if I'm giving you my time, if we're in bed cuddling, we're doing whatnot, if you're going to scroll through social media and look at a past tense of someone else's life, fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. I'm here giving you my time because I love you and I want to be with you.
Yep.
But one of my love languages is quality time and physical touch, like crazy.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, and I'm giving you my time and you're scrolling through looking at someone else's life that's posed, edited. Fuck off. Yeah. And it's same. I don't have a crack with friends and whatnot, but like even if you're in a car, just enjoying someone's company that's choosing to be with you, it's insulting if you're going to scroll through Instagram. If you when I'm with someone and I'm messaging someone else, I'm like, sorry, I just got to message this person because I'm choosing to be with you and you're choosing to be with me, and I'm giving someone else my time. That's just how I see it. So
well, that's probably, I guess, something to take from today. Is like a challenge for everyone that's listening. Like, be present. Yeah. Right? If you find yourself texting someone else when in the presence of someone else, like,
yeah, that person has chosen to give you their time. Appreciate their time.
Yeah.
And I understand texting or planning things or need to do something with someone else. Just sorry, I need to message this person. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Social media, no way. Fuck off.
Yeah.
If you're giving someone else your time, and if they're giving you their time, that's insulting for you to look at someone else's life on Instagram.
Well, when you're being social with a friend and you're choosing an inferior version of social.
Yeah. So they call it social media, but it makes you more unsocial.
Yeah. It touches you. Yeah.
And a big challenge I set out to myself is because of my confidence. I'm not confident when I walk into a room. A lot of people walk into the room on their phone to make it look like they're doing something so people don't look at them.
Yeah.
I make it a conscious effort myself, put my phone in my pocket, chest up, head held high, walk into that room, look around. It's just, why do I need to sit on my phone?
Yeah.
And you look so much better. If you picture yourself in a room full of people, if you see someone walk in, they've got their head down on their phone, you look up, look down, who cares? What are they doing on their phone?
They're not
if you see someone walk into a room, chest up, head held high, looking around, smile on their face, you've set the tone for the room, just entering it. And it's, this perspective of how you want to be as a person. Do you want to be the person that looks down on their phone and they walk into a room, or do you want to be the person that goes, well, head high, chest high, and people go, whoa, look at them, they fucking oath.
Yeah, I want to get around them.
Yeah.
That's 100%. So you mentioned there, random dude, 35-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Sees you in the street.
Yeah.
We could objectively say that somewhat of your social media fame has created a level of success.
Yep.
Do you agree?
That would come down to the interpretation of success.
Cool. What is it for you?
When I think of the word success, I think of the word succeeded. And I picture on my deathbed, and I'm 90 years old in hospital, whatever it might be. And it's not, was I successful? It's, did I succeed? When I look at did I succeed, I don't look at how much money I had, how many cars I had, how many investment properties I had, how many this, that, and the other. Did I succeed? Did I enjoy my life? Was I happy? Did I help other people be happy? That's what I interpret as succeeding in life, not was I successful in life.
Man, I think that's something that I've actually only come into the realization of late.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I used to see success as something that's very cliched in the entrepreneurial space, business space of just legacy, right? And I now think legacy is a bit of rubbish, right? And I'll explain why, right?
I'll hear you out.
Because I used to be motivated by being the divergent point of financial status or financial stability within my family.
Yep.
Right. That at any point in time, forever moving forward, someone could look back at our family tree and go, this was the dude that changed the status of everyone's financial capacity forever and a day.
Yep.
Whereas what I found by using that as motivation, I very much become one, dollar figure obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
And two, that actually doesn't mean much as far as legacy. Like they might be a bit more wealthy,
what does that matter?
That doesn't really mean that much because of, again, let's say that like little Timmy, 25 fucking 100 years away, is depressed and anxious and has all the money. He's probably that money's probably going to buy him more problems.
Yeah.
Right. But why I say legacy is a little bit more of a fallacy now is what I leave behind matters little. Mm-hmm. Who I am when I'm here matters more.
I rate that.
So like, I don't want people to remember me as a good guy.
Yeah.
I want people to know I'm a good guy now.
No, I rate that.
I want people to know that, like, again, bring it back to what you said. I succeeded, right? Even if we talk more surface level, I built the business.
Yep.
Great, right? Not when I'm gone, he built a good business. It's like he's building a good business, right? Yep. You know, if I have a good relationship, it's like I want to be known as a good partner.
Absolutely.
Not I was a good partner.
Yep.
I want to be. I need to be present. I need to be that thing
which we talked about.
Yeah.
Present. Yeah.
So like leaving the thing later and leaving the memory behind, I think will come by default if you
tick the boxes of the present. And no, I completely agree with that. So I think my idea of succeeding and success for me is finding this niche that I found and what I do and making a difference in people's lives. That's success to me. No money, no nothing.
All right. So here's devil's advocate. Do you think money makes a difference?
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
The world revolves around money. I don't care who you ask what it is.
Agree.
The world revolves around money.
Like if we were to put like, I guess a slogan on it, like I'd rather be stressed and rich and than stressed and poor. If it was, I had to pick one or the other.
Yeah, obviously.
Like,
but
you pick the stability.
Yeah. So I've got money in my bank account. I'm more than comfortable with. I can afford all what I want to afford. I know there's brickies labourers out there that are way more happier than me.
Yeah.
And
that comes down to, yes, if you had the option, or if there was a point where it was like, cool, you had to pick one or the other. Yeah, sure. You'd pick the stability with money, but it definitely doesn't buy happiness.
No, if I had to pick super anxious, super fucking rich, hectic lifestyle, or a brickies labourer for 10 years, but I'm happy, I'd pick the brickies labourer. Because you're happy. There's no bigger accomplishment and achievement than to be happy. You have all the other things in life. You have the money to try and make you happy.
Dude, I can say, like, you know, this business we've come into over the time, and we've created some status in the arena that we're in.
Yeah.
We've brought in large sums of money, right?
Yeah.
What I can say is points where I was money focused, money driven, I was at my least happy, and it's like, fuck, is it biggie, more money, more problems? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it fucking oath it created more stress. Yeah. Right. Just by default. So it's like, okay, I've now had to take a big step back where I've now had to look at life a little bit more of a bird's eye view and go, well, what really matters to me?
Yep.
And for me now, money is a driving factor to influence other people's life. So I look at like I don't care about what I earn, right? I care about what I pay. Yeah, I care about what I pay people, because then that allows them to buy the houses, go on the holidays, enjoy the things, right?
No, I rate that.
For me, it's like, cool, as long as I'm looked after, it's sweet.
Yeah.
and it's like it moves on pretty like in congruence with like creating growth.
Yeah.
But it's not just dependent on what I take.
Yeah. No. Shit. Yeah. I rate that highly.
And that's something that I feel like gets challenged a lot on social media. It's like that hustle grind mentality is like just earn the bank, earn the money.
Yeah.
Like
shut up.
Yeah, fuck off. 100% fuck off. So
yeah.
in that success, man, like I would assume there's probably been a point of loneliness, quote unquote success.
Yep.
Right? Like, you know, just getting more popular, getting more well known.
Has been really difficult with the podcast and stuff and everything because people I thought I was close with or close mates that I thought I had that don't support, that don't jump on board, that don't do these things. And that was really difficult to accept, that I thought I was doing good and I get so much more praise from random people that I've never met than my own mates. And it's like, where do you value it? And then we're not all, there's mates out there that I haven't complimented. I look at myself and my who I am as a friend, and they've done things I haven't complimented. So I can't be too hard on them, but it has been difficult to go, okay, I get way more praise and compliment out of this. That's why on Christmas I didn't spend it with my family. I went down and wanted to spend it on my own and caught up with someone. Because just because they're family doesn't mean, just because they're blood doesn't mean I get along with them, or doesn't mean I owe them anything, doesn't mean anything.
Or even if you did, even if it was all like, you know, sunshine rainbows.
Yeah.
Even if it is sunshine rainbows, like there's something to be said with like creating some solitude and just finding your own happiness in you.
Yeah.
So like, how have you gone through this process? Because like, you live out on a pretty secluded area.
Yeah.
Right. You work on a farm.
Yeah.
Right. You spend a lot of time by yourself.
Yeah.
Right. How have you, especially like when it comes to being someone that struggled with mental health, because when we're alone with our thoughts, it gets at its most toxic.
Oh gosh, yes.
So how have you managed to create a little bit of like comfort?
Appreciating the present and where I'm in at that time. Appreciating that I got a dog around me that's having fun with me and stuff. The real basic stuff. The driving around through a paddock, looking around, this is beautiful, this is green, the sky's nice. And it's really just appreciating the small things. And it's, at the end of the day, for me, it's appreciating small things. That's what I've always loved. I've always loved going to the beach, walking down the beach.
There's a lot that can be learnt from a dog as well, man.
Oh, fucking oath. They're wicked.
What kind of dog do you have?
I don't actually have a dog yet.
Well, on the farm?
Oh, Kelpies.
Kelpies, yeah. Cool. Yeah. I've got a border collie. And
good pup.
He's just like, do you want, actually, like father, like son, he's the most anxious ball of fucking, like he's so anxious.
Yeah.
But he's man, I look at like, the simple things coming home and he's there, he's happy to see you no matter fucking what's going on.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, bro. You can't buy it.
No. And
you cannot buy it.
That's the simple things.
Yeah.
The simple things in life are what you make you happiest.
Yeah. It's like, as much as I feel like it, you can walk into this and go very cliche that, if you can find happiness in just like your stinky dog. I say this all the time. My dog fucking stinks, bro. He rolls in shit, he rolls in piss. Yeah. And if this thing can still be happy and cute, and I can walk in and he can make me happy and he smells like piss and poo, like life ain't so bad. Yeah. No. Like if I can get happiness from this thing that proper stinks.
Proper stinks. Yeah. But that, at the end of the day, is a reflection of the simple things in life make us happiest. The things that are the things that are freeze for free. The things that are free in life are what make us happiest.
Yeah.
And we try and make up for that with things that cost money, that are expensive, that these trips, this lavish lifestyle, this everything at the end of the day to make up for the fact that we don't appreciate the simple things. So when you appreciate the simple things, you don't need all that.
Have you always been like that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Think so.
You've not ever been in someone that's like looked back with like any sort of regret or like understanding.
Are we diving into regrets?
We're diving regrets, man, because I think it's a big one. I think it's huge.
Because
let me reframe the question, right? Have you always been someone that's been able to see the silver lining?
No.
Okay.
When I struggled lots and when I was younger, I didn't see it. And as I've gotten older and more mature, and I look back at those things and see that it may have happened for a reason. Regretting it isn't going to solve anything. Regretting that situation isn't going to make me feel better. It's not going to change it. It happened for a reason. I don't know what that reason is all the time. I might find out that reason in 10, 15 years. But it happened, and I just have to accept that I need to look at the positive in that. That might be a negative, but I'm looking at the positive in the negative because I can learn from that and be a better person. That happened then at a less severe rate. It's not the right word. It's not coming to me. Less severe situation, so I could learn from it, so it didn't happen in 10 years' time in a more severe situation. So I don't regret what I did then because it happened for a reason and I could learn from it.
So I think like regret's a very nuanced thought process, right? Like if I look back on my life, right, and I think it'd be nice for me to say I have no regrets.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was a period of time, like when I was a child, like when I was young in school, I got bullied,
Yep.
right? And oftentimes when it comes to people being bullied, they then become the bully,
Mm-hmm.
right? I went through that phase.
Mm-hmm.
Would I say that I am happy about that? No.
Yep.
Would I say that that's like something that I'm proud of? No.
Yep.
So by definition, do I regret it? Yes. But it has allowed me to realize that that's not the person I want to be, and that's not how you should
Exactly.
treat people
Yeah.
and so on. So it's like, it's nuanced, because would I rather learn that lesson not being a bully? Yes. Would I rather not have learned that lesson by being a prick? Yes. But it's not how the world is.
No, and you may not have learned that. So whatever reason it was, that was the reason, and it happened.
Yeah.
Regretting it only makes you feel worse.
Yeah. Well, it does come down to the fact you can't change it.
Yeah.
So if you can't change it,
What's
why dwell
happened's
on it?
happened.
Yeah.
And then once it's happened, it's up to perspective. And if you've got the wrong perspective, you're not going to grow from it. You're not going to learn from it. And you're going to feel shit about it. Everything's perspective. Life's perspective. How you look at everything.
Do you find that, like, having had your struggles with mental health,
Yeah.
you lack the ability to have acute response to regret? Like, I find that, like, when I'm in the moment, it's like very hard to see that silver lining. I'm like, okay, there's a lesson here.
Yeah, it can be difficult.
Yeah, like it's you know, the life happens to us, not for us. And, you know, there are always things to be taken from every experience.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it does not feel like
In
that.
the moment, it is very difficult. But the more you go through it, the more you realize it, the more you talk about it, the more you voice it, the more you learn. And you can see it sooner.
I can attest to that. I look at, like, when I was at my lowest.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone around me would agree that, like, they expected that to be a long period of time.
Yeah.
But because I'd been through a bunch of other shit in my life that I'd had downsides, like a couple of years prior, my mum had got diagnosed with cancer. That was challenging.
Yeah.
That caused a lot of anxiety, so on and so forth. Right.
Yeah.
Because I'd kind of had that exposure
Mm-hmm.
to tolerance and built that tolerance rather.
Yeah.
The bounce back from this lowest point in my life where I'm sitting on a Lifeline chat support or Beyond Blue, whatever it was, right, to just genuinely being okay, was fucking quick.
Yeah.
Was very quick.
You've been through what you've been through. And
Yeah.
you've learned lessons from it. And yeah.
Because I remember one day, man, like I was sitting there and I was already on the meds, and then, like, I realized that my anchor of anxious was not dependent on my own action.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there with Pat, and I got a message. I got a message, and it was like instant anxiety. So it was from a message from the ex.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a correlating factor here to, like, what's causing the anxiety.
Yeah.
And it was like in that moment where I was like, I'm not doing this again. Like, I'm not fucking sitting in this anxiety. I'm not feeling like this.
Yeah.
And I would say it was largely due to having the meds there in play and that they had kicked in.
Yeah.
That I was able to have that, like, critical thinking thought process where I'm like, no,
Yeah.
don't fucking sit in this.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Here's how you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then it was like, literally, it was a vertical leap from there, man. It was like straight up, like, okay, these are the steps.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people you remove from your life. This is the way you're now going to communicate. Cut the rest.
Yeah.
And it fucking happened real quick.
Would you say that was because of the medication that it helped?
It definitely helped.
Yeah.
Like, I think medication, this is where I think it doesn't fix the problem, but it takes the edge off the problem.
It gives you strength.
It gives you strength, but it also gives you the ability to be rational. So this, I feel like, so many times when we look at, like, mental health response and, like, how we respond as people, it's high end emotion. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's always negative swing, right? It's very hard to see that positive, and it's very hard to think logically. So if, like, what I see medication to be is just someone's giving you the map.
Yep.
Right. It's not going to get you to the destination, but it's like, here's a map, and it allows you to actually take some due course and take direction.
Yeah, I rate that. Yeah.
Like, without that, I don't think I would have had the ability to be critical in the moment and go, all right, sick.
Yeah.
Let's move forward here. Did you find that anything with you? Like, there was a point where you're like,
Me, medication was a lifeline, and I didn't care what the side effects were. I didn't care if I had a headache all day long. If it was going to keep me alive, it was the lifeline I needed. And after a few weeks, it slowly kicked in, and I became more rational. I became, my thoughts just all dialed down a little bit, and that's what I needed, because my mind goes 24/7, 7 days a week. And so it dialed down a bit, appreciate the small things. And I've always been able to appreciate them. I can tell myself to appreciate them, but when I was at the worst, I just didn't appreciate them. So having that helped me actually appreciate them. Yeah. So I'm more than happy to admit that I could be on medication for the rest of my life. I couldn't bother me in the slightest.
Does not, man. See, this is, I've come off because, again, the problem was gone.
Yeah.
Right? And my ability to deal with the problem was better.
Yeah.
But if the necessity was to get on or stay on and it meant a better quality of life,
yeah,
fucking oath.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And the way I see it is I could be shitty about it that I have to take this pill every day for the rest of my life, or I can be grateful that I've got 2 legs and a heartbeat. And I'm fortunate that all I have to do is take medication every day. That's the card I've been drawn, sorry. There could be a whole lot worse situations I could be in. I can go, fuck, why do I have to take this every day? Like, why am I like this? Why was I drawn this card? I've got 2 very good, healthy working legs. I'm so grateful for. There's people out there, I don't have to jab myself because I've got type 1 diabetes. There's all these things that if I put into perspective, a pill every morning isn't that bad. And it's up to your own interpretation of the perspective of what you're going through. And I guess that applies to everything.
Why do you think, this is probably a big question, why do you think there is such a negative connotation to having a pill? Like, why is it such a bad thing? Like, you and I know it's not. Why do people perceive it to be bad?
Because people associate the fact that they're not strong enough to get through it themselves and they rely on something else and they're not.
So it's a weakness?
Yeah, the taboo around mental health and that. And it's not a weakness. It's the card you've been drawn and it's to help you get through what you're going through. It's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. It's just, that's the card you're drawn in life. There's people drawn all sorts of cards. That's the one you were drawn. That's all it is.
If you were to, let's say someone's going through this process of like potentially considering medication.
Yeah.
Right. Granted, you and I, not doctors, right? Yeah, clearly.
I was actually, sorry, off topic. I was concussed in footy, like knocked out. And then I got up and the umpire was like, you need to train out here. I'm like, I am the trainer. Give me the ball. He's right here. I am the trainer. Where's the ball? Handballed it off, ran straight off the field.
Just absolutely cooked.
I was fucked. Anyway,
let's say like if you were to give some advice though to someone considering if medication was right for them.
Yeah.
Right. What are some things that you felt that you needed to think about before going down that road? Granted, it was a lifeline for you, but how did you accept that that was the necessary one?
Well, 3 years ago, I had the option to get on medication, but I was able to work through it just through seeing a psych, and I didn't need it. It was an option there, but it's the psych's like it helps, but the main thing is psychologist in that time and how I was. But for now, being at rock bottom where I was, it was put anything and everything in my body you can. I don't care how many chemicals are in it. I don't care what it is. If it's going to keep me alive, I need it.
Yep.
And then I've gotten past that point, and now it's like, yeah, that's my happy pill I take every day. Fucking oath. And it's just, I don't overthink it. It's fine. That's just, all I see is that's the card I've been drawn. So there's all sorts of cards I could have been drawn in life that are so much fucking worse. I'm more than happy with this situation that I've got.
Absolutely.
It's just perspective. That's all life is.
So, insecurities, brother. Let's talk about it, because I think like now that we're into this portion of like medicated, we're okay, right, to a degree.
Yeah.
Right, okay is a moving spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that like I still have insecurities that are irrespective of anxiety.
Yep.
Nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Right. Maybe there are some cross-populated areas, but like for me, it's just something that's a way of the world.
Yep.
What's your take on it?
Insecurities in general, I think they're inevitable in some way or not, whether you admit them or not. I don't know. What are your views? Do you think everyone has insecurities, whether they admit them or not?
100%.
Yeah.
That's like mad.
You're naive and silly to think that you don't have insecurities.
Dude, I think this is the easy way to sum this up is everyone that says that they don't talk to themselves in their head is fucking lying, right? Everyone has a voice in the head, right? And more often than not, it's your ego trying to keep you safe, keep you comfortable.
Yeah.
And that place is coming from insecurities.
Yeah.
Right. That conversation, that internal dialect is always coming from insecurities.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I think everyone has insecurities. The severity of them is obviously different between each different person. I'm the opposite. I don't have an ego in my head. I've got the opposite, which makes me insecure. I have self-doubt. I'm not this, that, and the other. I don't like coming out here. I didn't have confidence that I was someone worth coming out here and getting a podcast with. That's my insecurity of my value and self-worth isn't what other people see it as. And so that's what I'm quite insecure about. And then there's all your other insecurities like body image and all that stuff. It always comes and goes in waves, and it's the older you get, the more you accept it and realize it, the easier it is to manage and talk about it. And I think in relationships, that's such a big thing that needs to be discussed openly and honestly. Otherwise, it's just going to end up in shit.
Yeah. We've spoken about a lot on the podcast as a whole when it comes to insecurities in the world of females.
Yeah.
That, high-end social proofing, social status and social expectations and so on, social media coming back into that play.
Yeah.
But like, it's not often spoken about, or we at least haven't spoken about it in regards to like men becoming self-conscious with body image, mental health, etc.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Yeah.
So not only like, I guess, is this conversation been great for an insight to like mental health awareness and like telling everyone that's okay, but let's talk about like just real straight up insecurities that are physical.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, a big one for guys are legs, calves.
Yeah.
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 I couldn't give a fuck. I don't train calves. I don't lift heavy. I don't do that. I'd go for runs. What my calves look like. I could not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And people will get so insecure and worked up about that and everything. And it's this body image. It's just, yeah, it's a shame that, and a big part of that social media that fucks that up. Because you see these guys training and they're doing this, the big bulging veiny calves, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And you look at yourself like, I don't have that. Why should I could have that? I look at mine. Oh, they're not as good. That's why that's good about social media. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And you just accept who you are, how you are. And once you do that, it's lovely.
Do you reckon it's fair to say that most, if not all, insecurities come from a root of comparison?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
That's why you have to be happy in who you are in your own company and appreciate who you are and whatnot.
Here's a good question then. Yes, we spoke about like social media being the thing, like, had we grown up in an era where that was no longer a thing, or was not a thing rather, we'd probably be a little bit more healthy in regards to actually like social skills and so on. But insecurities, like, I honestly, man, like, it's probably where I talk to my dad and my mom. It's like, they don't really understand what an insecurity is.
No. That's how fucked up this generation is because of social media. It's because of social media.
I've never thought of it, man. Like, I honestly, I look at my dad and his behavior now, right? And there's things that like he did when I was a kid, right? That I'm like, fuck, that's embarrassing, right? But man, for him, it's nothing. He's got nothing to worry about.
That's sick, yeah.
It's like all he has to worry about is his four walls and his family around him. Yeah. It's like, why the fuck does embarrassment even come into it?
And it's like, it's everything. I'll go to the beach and like some footy shorts are real fucking tight, and if I'm having a shit period of not going to the gym, I got this muffin top, some footy shorts, and sometimes I look fucking shredded. Yeah. And that's on my mind. And it's because of comparing to other people. If I went to the beach on my own with no one around, I wouldn't care what footy shorts I wear. If I went to Fiji and on a fucking private beach, I wouldn't care. Yeah. It's the thought of what people are thinking around me. And you got to learn to accept that and get past that and realize no one gives a fuck. It's just up to you and what's going on in your head that you need to work through and get past. And at the end of the day, is the muffin top really that bad in perspective of what's going on in the world? And again, you don't have to look at it with that perspective if that's how you want to, but put it simply, no, who gives a fuck? I want to swim today because I want to swim. These are the shorts I got. Who cares? Sick.
I think it's like easier said than done though.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like, everything I say is not easy.
No.
But at the end of the day, that's how it is. Yep. I'm not saying any of it's easy, but that is how it is.
Yeah. I think like when we look at this, like, we can sit here and go, just wear the damn shorts or, eat the damn food. Don't worry about other people and stuff. But ultimately, yes, your self-talk is still going to be it's going to be there.
Yeah.
Do you have any strategies to combat it? Because as much as it's great to just say, just do it, and it is how it is, do you have any actual strategy or internal dialect that you actually use to get through it?
I just appreciate the moment I'm in, the fact that I can go to the beach. Why the fuck would I be worried about what someone thinks about when I'm here at this lovely beach to go swim at? Why do I care about this opinion of someone I don't know or frankly don't care about or what they say?
Yeah.
Or
that's a big one.
Yeah, like in my bio, I've had it in my Instagram bio for ages. Never take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. And that person probably isn't criticizing me. They don't care. I've made it up in my mind. And the more you realize this and accept this, the easier it does get. That it's this issue that I've created in my mind isn't a fucking issue. It doesn't matter. The beach is lovely. I want to go for a fucking swim. That's when you break it down to what you're doing, the simplest things in life, it just gets easier.
Yeah. Man, I fully fucking agree. That's a big one.
Yeah.
All right, bro. I'm gonna let you take the hot seat, man. Where do you want to take this conversation? We've got a few topics.
Expectations on the perfect life, because I really like this one, and it comes back to social media as well. And so I did a podcast episode, and this was actually a really good one. We've got this expectation of you finish school, you find the thing you want to study, you get the job, you meet the girl, you get the house, you have a happy life. When does that happen? When realistically is that actually happening? It doesn't happen fuck all. So this idea of this expectation of the perfect life that no one fucking lives. And then we compare ourselves with social media. They're having kids, they're married, they've got this car. Who says the rest of their life isn't fucked up and they're really insecure and worried about what's going on? But all you see is this perspective of what the perfect life is that they're living. And then you get worked up about it yourself. We're all on such different paths. Such different paths. And I thought I'd be further than this. If I look back on where I want to be, I want to invest in all these things. I was going to buy a house, an apartment, do this, do that. Just run your own race. That's all it comes down to, because we're all living different lives. Everything will happen in its time. It doesn't have to happen in this set out time period that's meant to be, that no one actually fucking lives by.
Yeah, man. Honestly, bro, I couldn't have said that better myself. I think, like, for me, I look back at, like, when I had that, like, real low point of, like, anxiety and when it really hit me, a large portion of that was, like, social expectation and just standard, right? Of, like, standard that was set or predetermined of, like, oh, this is how things should be. Yep. So, like, I'm 27, I should be, like, should be settling down, not going through, the worst time of my life and blah, blah, blah. And it cycled and repeated and it fucking didn't change anything. Yeah. Like,
you built up this expectation of what it's meant to be like, but then it's just down to perspective. You're breaking down at the age of, I broke down at the age of 22, 23, instead of 45 with a wife and kids. It's, no, I shouldn't be doing this right now, but perspective is, okay, it's happened now, so I've got the tools to manage it then.
Yeah.
But I might not have wife and kids then, and that's fine. It's whatever happens is going to happen. We don't fucking know with the way the world's going what's going to happen. The economy, the wars, the everything. Yeah. So why worry and stress about all these things of the idea of the perfect life when we have no idea what the next 10 years is going to be like? Yeah. We have no idea all these variables that we have no control over, and we stress about them. Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah. Well, and you waste so much time doing nothing. Yeah. Like you just you spend so much time wasting time with lack of action because you're fucking scared that things aren't going the way they should. Yeah. And if you just got busy living and doing the thing, you probably get closer to it anyway.
Yeah. And I think something more valuable than time is headspace. And you waste so much fucking headspace comparing and thinking about all these variables and things that happen. I need this by then. I need this car. I need to find a girlfriend. I need to find a wife. I need to have kids before this time. Just live life in 24-hour blocks.
That's interesting, man, because that's very interesting. I agree, but it's a different line of thinking, right? So you said there that if you spend so much time trying to make decisions on where things are going to go, you just end up wasting your time and living life in 24-hour blocks. I put my business brain on it for a second and I go, fuck, I can't think in 24-hour blocks.
No, yeah.
Because if I don't future-proof the business, I become fragile. Yeah. And then my main goal in business is to become anti-fragile to a point where we can be predictable and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I feel like I have to live in the future. Yeah. But I wish I didn't.
Yeah. So no, I completely respect that and the reason why you have to do it. And what I say is based off what I've been through and what I go through. People can apply it where they want, or they can twist it, manipulate it, change it, and what suits them right in their lifetime. So for you and where you are with work and business and whatnot, it's obviously not apply to you. You can apply it in areas, but...
Yeah, but see, this is where I wish I could, right? Yeah. I would love to just not be able to worry about, payroll in 6 years. But I do. I worry about are we going to be able to grow the company big enough that I can pay another 20 people? Yep. Right? That's something that keeps me up at night. I wish I couldn't. I wish I didn't.
Other ways around it.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's just even having this conversation of well, how can I start to structure my life in 24-hour blocks that don't create acute stress because I'm scared of I don't know what's coming, but also allow me to actually focus on what needs to be focused on now.
The present. Yeah. What's actually happening. That isn't actually happening. What you're losing sleep over isn't actually happening. That's not guaranteed. Anything could happen in that time between now and then. So you're losing sleep over something that's not happening and missing out on the present based off something that might happen in the future or elements that you can't control or haven't even been introduced yet that you're worrying about. What's the fucking point?
Yeah, see, I'm so pragmatic when it comes to my thought processes. I try and be almost like I spend so much time focusing on what could go wrong rather than what is going right. Yeah.
I think most people do that.
Which from a business perspective, it allows me to grow faster because I can identify issues. Yeah. But it also allows me to fucking waste away my life just stressing about shit.
And then therefore not living in the present, therefore not enjoying what you're doing, therefore at the end of the day not benefiting your mental health.
So this isn't on our notes, but let's talk about the concept of balance then. Yeah. For someone like me, I'm working roughly 14 to 16 hour days trying to grow something, right? And it's the thing is here is it's intrinsic motivation because it has no direct return, right? I don't get paid for those 16 hours, right? It's about creating future growth. Yeah. But what's in your opinion, you're on a different end of the spectrum, right? Yeah. You're working on a farm.
Yeah.
You have all the time in the world for yourself.
Yeah.
Like what's your opinion or what's your advice to someone like me to create balance?
Is it worth 14-hour days on the future and what it's costing for you right now in the present? There's no guarantee. We don't have a crystal ball. Mum taught me this, and this things I'll never forget. We don't have a crystal ball in life. There's no guarantee that you go drop me home, I'm going to get T-boned. And you spent 14 hours of your day planning for a future that you're never going to reach because you're stuck in a wheelchair. I'm just raw and honest. You're stuck in a wheelchair now and half your brain doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you spent so much of your time setting up a future that isn't going to come. Because we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen next week, next month, what bomb's going to get dropped on what place and what it causes. So you just bring it all the way back. We don't have a crystal ball. I can do things for when, if that does happen, I can implement things for making that easier or hopefully plan for it. But I'm in the here and now because the here and now is the only thing that exists. That doesn't exist. This is the only thing that exists.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. It's interesting hearing this perspective because like conversations I have on a daily, right?
Yeah.
I paint the picture a little bit of people that are very much in a similar mindset, similar perspective. It's like, fuck, you've got to make moves. You've got to be forward thinking. You've got this, right? Yeah. And I feel like business and entrepreneurial like thought processes all come with this like forward thinking default. It's actually quite refreshing to be like, okay, well, focus on the now.
Because the now's the only thing you're in.
Well, and it just allows like automatically right now, I feel like a weight has lifted off my shoulders because I can go, okay, well, rather than worry about what needs to be done tomorrow, next day and plan and, you know, be super pragmatic and super like, you know, linear with my thought process.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, what can you deal with today in between this time and this time? And then go home and spend time with your dog. Like right now, all I'm thinking of is going home and spend time with my dog now.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
That's really cool.
Bloody bonza. Yeah. Do you write lists at the start of the day of what you need to do?
Night before.
Yeah.
So before I go to bed, I'll write lists on what need to be done in the morning.
Yeah.
Or what my intentions are for the next day. Things of like what I intend to get done.
Yeah.
So I live by, I've spoken about this before on a podcast, but I live my life in a way of game theory. So game theory for me works really well because I'm a competitive motherfucker.
Yeah.
And what game theory is assigning points to tasks within your day in order of importance.
Yep.
So
that makes sense.
the tasks that have higher value, have higher potential return or intrinsic return, whatever it might be, they get assigned more points.
Yep.
And the cool thing here is like I will even assign points to like communication with family. I'll assign points to you know, talking to clients, and then doing the bigger jobs like, you know, expanding the business stuff. I'll assign points across the board, and I'll write my intentions for the day before I go to bed. And this is something I've done almost every day for I'd say like 18 months now.
Yep. Where
I'll do intentions and point system before I go to bed.
Yep.
And it sounds absurd that, you know, I take my 5 minutes to assign points to things before I go to bed, but the one thing that I have ingrained in me now is that like it's 100 points to win the week, right? But there's 150 points on offer, right?
Yeah, right.
Which means some days I might not get everything done, right? But as long as I prioritize the ones that have the highest point value, and at any given moment that might change. So if I feel like a weakness of mine of late has been, I don't know, communicating with a friend, that will then get assigned higher points.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right. So it's not always work driven, money driven. It's like the things that I feel like are important to me in that moment, in that week.
Yep.
Right. So I'm very reflective on how I work and how I interact with people. And if I feel like I need to pay more attention to things, I'll just assign it more points.
I rate that highly. I've never heard of that, but that's...
And then end of the week, it's like, you know, it's just like footy, man. It's like you might lose the first 3 quarters, but you fucking come out the gates on the back end.
No, I rate that.
And still win.
Shit, yeah.
So like as long as I hit my 100 points, I've won my week.
No, that's actually sick. I hope someone can get something from that or multiple people can get something from that. I've never heard that.
It's I think for a lot of people that do run businesses, we're all very competitive.
Yep.
So if you can find competition in day-to-day tasks, and it's just competition on yourself, like, you know, you're the only one that can control it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I rate that. So that's your version of journaling, I guess.
Yeah.
So I've got my book here that I've journaled in. I haven't journaled for ages. So my idea of journaling, so you got these journal books that are like, you can buy them like $50.
Yeah.
And they're like all preset, goals for the day, this for the day, that for the day. For me, that overwhelms me. There's too much going on. I need to think of all these things, bring these things to the front of my mind, which I don't want to put down on paper that then I'm going to be thinking about it. So I just use a journal to write my own things down. So I'll do like 3 things I'm grateful for. This is when I was like rock bottom. 3 things I'm grateful for. I had a really delicious breakfast of all different types of food. That was something I was grateful I had. I had people around me checking in and supporting me. That was something I'm grateful I had. I have a comfortable amount of money and didn't need to stress about. That's another thing I was grateful for. Just can be all different things. 3 things I want to achieve today. Read some of my book. That's not a very specific goal. It might be read 3 pages of my book. That's something I've achieved. Offer to help mum where I can. and what I'm doing. Have a bloody shave. They've been so I've shaved.
Yeah.
One thing I will appreciate today, I'm isolating in a beautiful place. I was isolating in Moore-River for those that might be in WA. Moore-River's lovely. That was when I have COVID. Then I'll leave how my body feels, how my mind feels, and then I'll leave myself a little note at the bottom. Smile, laugh at, enjoy the simple things today. Don't look at how a situation could be different because a situation can always be different. So live and enjoy the situation you're in. And then I just leave a little message for myself at the bottom. What's another one? Appreciate how lucky and fortunate we are today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, just soak up today and how beautiful it is and will be. And it's just, I didn't do too much today, but I'll still get out of bed and did something. And I'm glad that I did. I always feel better after getting outside, even though I may not feel like it. Remember that. So that was an end of the day one. That was when I was like rock bottom, COVID. And so, yeah, I just leave these messages for myself.
Do you find they're very helpful to reflect back on?
Like in times reflect on this for a while, but
well, maybe that's something you need to do.
Yeah.
Like if maybe that's something you need to actually implement into your weekly schedule is like reminding yourself of the positives, right? And this is something that I've actually started doing with our team, right? Like the way we now self-service is like it's a pretty like higher price point than what we've been used to.
Yep.
So as a reminder to be like, cool, you guys, tonality is everything, right? Yep. So we can't sell anything unless we believe in it. Mm-hmm. So for them to believe in it, they need to see the progress, they need to see the outcomes, they need to see the positivity. Yep. So on our meetings, right, our Monday meetings as a team, we'll get in and go over all of the positive reviews for the week. Yep. This is what you've done. This is how you've impacted people's lives. Just as a reminder, go do the thing.
Yeah.
Right. So like maybe that's something you need to implement.
Yeah,
like go back, read your personal notes.
And read like messages I get from people. And that's a drive to keep doing this and what I'm doing, I think, in a way.
Well, I'd probably argue not the people that message you.
Yes and no, all within reason.
Because more so like if you're trying to find internal drive, the things that you've said to yourself are going to be the most powerful.
That's very true.
Because they actually are reflective and relevant to you and how you feel.
Yeah.
Often if you read, like, I know if I read a lot of things from other people,
at the end of the day,
it's external, but also you're going to take that into
Yep.
and start to think, oh, how would you react? What would you do in their situation? It's going to be a default mechanism, right? Because perspective is not something that comes by choice, it's innate.
Yep.
So you're going to put yourself in their situation by default and think about it. Whereas if you just read your words of affirmation and go, well, this is the direction you need to take, this is where you've come from, it's all relevant.
Yeah.
No external.
Yeah. So yeah, in those times of really low points or trying to find my feet again, it was literally just pumping out all this self-affirmation, all this whatnot. So if anyone can benefit from that, or like you, the goal system, whatever it might be, in little ways, you can, I don't know, improve your mental health in ways you can.
Is that something you do like on a daily basis, like morning routine? Like you've got up there, that's something that we want to speak about with routine.
Used to be. We did a wicked episode on the podcast of morning routine. If you struggle with morning routine, that's a fucking good one.
Are you an advocate for morning routines?
I used to be.
Yeah.
And now things have changed with work and what we're doing, and it's fucking cold in the morning out on the farm, and it all changes.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I learned from that, with Josh, I did a podcast with, he talked to his doctor or something about it, and he said, a sleeping routine, no matter what time you go to bed, you wake up in the morning every single day at the same time. Mm-hmm. Because if you go to sleep at normally 9 o'clock, but you went to sleep at 11 o'clock, don't break your routine twice, only break it once. So wake up at the same time every single day. Mm-hmm. Instead of breaking the routine twice, you only break it once.
It just comes down to like keeping the promises you make for yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to actually believe in what you do.
Yeah, and then you keep the routine. And then, are you big on routine or are you?
I find routine in lack of routine. I'm very sporadic. I'm a very impulsive person. So like I went through a phase where I watched this motivational video, right? It was like, make your bed every morning, blah, blah. It's like,
shut the fuck up.
Bro, like I haven't made my bed in fucking 5 years, 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And the thing I found, like when I stopped focusing on what other people seem to be a successful morning routine and found my own, the more I actually started to succeed. So rather than like pigeonholing myself and boxing myself into this place where it's like, well, I have to do my, cold shower, I have to make my bed, and I have to fucking have my lemon water. For me, it was about creating positive habits around like what actually happened in the morning.
Yeah.
So like my morning routine now is very, very simple. I wake up when I wake up. I don't set an alarm, right? Mm-hmm. I've got the beauty of not having to be at a place of work to do work.
Yep.
Right? Work for myself, build a business. That's the luxury I can afford. Mm-hmm. So I wake up when I wake up, and I then don't look at my phone.
Yep.
Right? My first hour of my day is my time.
Yep.
Okay, whether it be that I jump in the shower and I have a 40-minute shower, or I go sit outside with Moose, my dog, and hang out.
Shit,
that's my time.
Yeah.
And something that I'm going to be like, I'm slowly implementing now, just into the way I do work, do business. It's like Mondays and Fridays are going to be the only times that I'm going to be available for people. Mm-hmm. and then Tuesday through to Thursday is uninterrupted, whether it be time focusing on the business, time focusing on personal growth, whatever, that's uninterrupted, I'm not available. Can't book me, can't talk to me. Like, it's something that we're slowly transitioning into. But for me, a morning routine just looks like creating scarcity, bro. It's just like, it's mine. Because if I come into that first hour of the day being stressed, no matter what, and this is something that I had to realize probably 2 months ago, when that stress was at its highest and was like surface level stress within the business was getting large, if I started my day like that, I'm fucking going to finish that way too. So like, no matter what, it's like first hour, I don't care how many emails have come through, don't care how many clients have messaged. It's like, that can wait. You need that. That's a future Rhys problem. Not right now.
That's you filling your cup up.
So that's realistically my only routine.
It's a routine without a routine, I guess, in a sense. And I think it just comes down to each person. Like, some people like routine, need routine. If you've never tried routine and you're struggling with these things, implement routine.
Well, routine can lead to a lot of success, right? Routine, Pat and I were speaking about it just the other day. It's like, in the fitness industry, we get a lot of things with like almost like what we say, like clickbaity and fatty. And it's like, have your fucking detox drink, right? Detox drinks do fuck all. But here's the big thing, right? And this is the thing people don't tell you. It's like, if you having the detox drink then encourages you to eat healthy and then encourages you to go for a fucking walk and then get to the gym, but the anchor and the catalyst was the detox drink, although that's doing fuck all for detoxing, it's allowing you to do all the other positive shit. Go fucking nuts.
Fucking oath. I completely agree. Before TikTok came out, I did Instagram stories, and then people just convinced me to get TikTok. Like, fuck, that's for kids. And then I ended up getting it. Now I'm a kid. So I used to do Instagram stories, and I said in Instagram story, if you want to drink your lemon water in the morning, don't let anyone tell you otherwise if that's what you implement and it sets you up for your day, whether it works or not.
Oh, you've had this conversation?
I didn't make a story about it.
Bro, that's a coincidence. Fuck.
This was 4 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
Whether it works or not, don't let someone else tell you. If you can implement that and that sets you up for your day, however that might look, and you having that makes you feel better, fucking have it.
Yeah. So it's the same goes with like mental health. Bring it back to like where we're at. Like, if journaling is the thing that opens the door to having a good day, fucking do it. If sitting there having 20 minutes of manifesting, right, is the thing that helps you be positive for the day, great. Right, we can sit here and look at like, manifesting as far as like its actual capacity of nature. Not that much. But if it opens, so like we've got our thing in our brain called your RAS, so your reticular activating system. When you like think about when you're younger and you wanted to buy a cool car, as soon as you decided on the cool car, you saw the cool car everywhere, right? That's the RAS just being activated. So that's what manifestation really is. It's like, as soon as you start to focus on a thing, you start to notice it, you draw it in, and so on.
Like, as soon as you buy a new car, you see that car everywhere.
It's everywhere, right? Same goes like you want a pair of shoes and you go buy it. It's like now everyone has them. No longer feels exclusive.
That's very true.
That's realistically what manifestation is. But if you need to sit there and think about, I'm going to have a successful life, and you need to stand in the mirror and manifest shit, and you need to have those positive affirmations. If it has a positive impact on the habits that you fucking portray throughout the day, go nuts.
There's no right or wrong in what you do in your day, in your morning, your night routine, whatever it is, if it makes you feel good.
Like if it leads to some sort of positive impact on you or other people, great.
So I think a big takeaway for that, because everything I've said in podcasts and everything, there's always a takeaway. So implement something and try something different that you haven't tried yet. If you're struggling with a routine or struggling with certain things, that you can try implement that. It might be routine, it might be no routine, it might be 15 minutes me time in the morning, it might be an hour me time, whatever it might be. Trial and error, because we're all different. We don't all come from a cardboard cutout and we're all wired the same. So
Man, I think we've gone everywhere on today's episode. We'll definitely come back for a part 2.
Definitely.
Because there's a lot we still want to cover, and we're going to go through a Q&A as well. But
I
want you to cap us off, man. For anyone that is struggling with mental health, anyone that is feeling like they aren't able to talk about it, what's your one piece of advice?
Fuck me. That's a big one. There's no shame in talking about it. That's the biggest thing we struggle with, is the shame associated with it. There's no shame, because we all struggle from time to time. If everyone put their hand up that struggled, there'd be more hands up than hands down. If there's so many people that take medication, they don't talk about the medication because they're shy about it. But if everyone put their hand up and took medication, it'd be so much easier to go, oh, okay, I'll go take medication now. It's okay. So just to understand that there are so many people in that boat that aren't talking about it, and you're not alone in how you're feeling, and it's not taboo. It's not an awkward, sticky thing. It's a normal thing. I'd be concerned if there are people out there that haven't had a mental health issue at some point in their life, or haven't broken down and needed to talk about it. It's something you do to implement to make yourself feel better. Talk about it, open up about it, find a safe person and let them know because they want to hear it. You're not an anchor to somebody. So many people see themselves as an anchor. Flip the other way around. Would you want someone else to come to you and talk about how they're feeling? Of course you would because they're your friend, their loved one, they care about you. It's the exact same the other way around. So talk about how you're feeling to people and just go from there. Or a doctor, whatever it might be.
I think when you talk, so my 2 cents on this, when you talk to someone and you give them the opportunity to understand where you're coming from, give them an opportunity to understand your mental health struggles and tell them openly, wholeheartedly, in a very raw way that you need help, you're giving them a gift. You are giving them a gift because when you help someone, it feels good.
Yeah.
When I know every single time that I've gone and helped someone, gone out of my way to give someone something more, it feels fucking great.
I'd love to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So when we look at this, it's like rather than seeing this as a burden, seeing it as you're giving someone as a gift, an opportunity to help, and an opportunity to make them feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So and the cool thing here, the cool thing here is law of reciprocity. They help you, you're going to be inclined to want to help them by default.
Yeah.
Which means you now have a little bit more drive, a little bit more purpose.
That's a fucking healthy cycle to get into. Sorry. That's very healthy. So I completely agree with that. Absolutely. And for other people that, like my situation of being vulnerable to help people, the biggest way to help someone else is to be vulnerable yourself and be honest with yourself. So if you don't know how to help other people, or you're struggling or whatever it might be, that's another reason, another drive for you to voice how you're feeling. Because you might go to your friend and go, I've been really struggling. They've been in closed doors struggling longer than you have and haven't had someone break the ice for them. So not only are you helping yourself, you can open that door up for someone else to talk about how they're feeling too.
Absolutely, man. Where can people find you, bro?
On Instagram @_Nick Robbo. You can follow me on TikTok if you want.
Same handle?
Yeah. I don't really TikTok's buddy.
Mate, it's your come up. It's your come up story.
It is. I need it forever.
Man,
it's good to me.
For everyone at home, cannot highly recommend this guy enough. Go have a read through all of his stuff, watch some of his videos, you'll take something from it, guaranteed.
Yeah, and the podcast, our podcast, like at the end of the day, it's just another mental health podcast that I want to share my thing. So it's @bloke to bloke on Instagram as well, which you'll also find through my Instagram.
Excellent, man. Can't wait for round 2.
Thanks, Rhys.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.